Hello, I'm here with Megan again,
Hi guys.
and today we are going to be talking about Another. It was originally a novel that was then adapted into a manga, an anime, and a live-action film. We're going to be talking about the anime. The story focuses on a student named Koichi Sakakibara who transfers to Yomiyama Middle School. After he starts going to class, he notices that there is this one girl who seems to be non-existent to the rest of the class. He soon finds that the students and their relatives are falling victim to these often gruesome deaths. Megan,
Yes,
what do you think of the show?
I enjoyed it. I didn't like the way they treated May. I thought Nalia was a good character, sort of comic relief, which I thought it was good because it wasn't a comedy. So it was
No.
good to have him in there. I enjoyed it.
And when you make a horror or thriller miniseries, every second can't be filled with something horrific.
No, it can. You got to always have a little bit of lightness to it.
That was good with Naoya, isn't it?
He was. I really enjoyed him.
How creepy would you say it is?
Ah, it didn't really have that much to me of a creep factor. A little bit, but not. I've seen worse. I think it was more a mystery. And weird, but not.
The deaths were disturbing.
Well, yeah, the way some of them were done.
Very good, especially
exactly.
the first one.
Yes, yes. And it's hard, we can't get into them because you want them to watch it and see for themselves. But
Yeah.
yes.
The first death that we see is one of the most well-known scenes. Like,
I think
I
so.
don't really want to say iconic, but it's like one of the main scenes that you
yeah,
think of with this
exactly.
show.
Yep, it is.
To me, the creepy atmosphere was made well, especially in the beginning of the show, the first couple episodes.
Yeah, and I remember the one scene with May and the way the rain was like falling and
Yeah.
she's standing there in the dark, you know. It was kind of creepiness.
Well, why is this girl just standing in the rain hitting
exactly,
her without
yeah.
an umbrella?
Yeah. And we later know she likes it, sort of. It doesn't bother her, but it's just the way it looked and her reaction to it after, you know.
And then you also have the dolls. The doll faces. You see that in the first episode, like when the scenes transition, you'll see them every once in a while.
And they're a bit odd.
The expression on their faces.
And well, all right, you'll learn more about them later, but it's hard to.
It was like out of place though. Why you just see like this doll every once in a while sitting there.
Exactly.
And so, some of them they looked like they were sad or they were in pain. Some of them.
If they could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they shouldn't be.
No, they shouldn't be.
And to me, the music did a good job in helping to build the atmosphere, especially in the earlier episodes.
It sure does. You need a good composer that could add mystery, suspense, everything, action, all kinds of stuff.
It just helped build that, like the mood of the show,
exactly, the feeling of
the creepiness and the
uneasiness,
the mystery of it.
Yes.
It was a mystery, but it's a dark mystery.
Oh yeah, it was.
What do you think of the characters of the show?
I thought they were good. I liked May. I felt sorry for her. I thought she was cute. I liked Nalia with his, as I said earlier, sort of comic relief. Koichi was a good character. And I liked the librarian.
Chibiki.
I thought he was good.
Yeah. When he first introduced, I know he was going to be one of the main characters. Not like one of the main characters, but I thought he was just like a side one-time character.
By looking at him, I could picture him like in a vampire show or something. He looked odd. But I thought he was good.
He was more important than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
What do you think of Izumi?
Well, at first I wasn't sure, and I'm not going to get into there. Like I said, all of them through the show, but I have to say she's a loudmouth.
It's like conflicting how you feel about her.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
What do you think of the two teachers?
I thought they were good, strong characters, and
they ended up having more of a part than I thought they were going to at first.
They did.
At first, it seemed like it was just focusing on the students.
But then they had more. The librarian had more. And we could say, without giving things away, you could be a good character. We're not saying they're good or bad.
Yeah.
It's a good, strong character that they wrote in the show.
Because even like villains, you have to have a good villain.
Exactly, that's
Doesn't
what I
mean
mean.
they're good, but they're a good villain.
Right.
Yeah. Not saying who the villain is.
No, we're not.
Yeah. They had. What do you think of Amanda? That weird woman with the dolls?
Oh, yeah, well, add to the creep factor.
Yeah.
You need that.
Yeah. Well, you need someone with the dolls.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
they may have been one of the creepiest things in the show, so you need something to go along with them.
The first, I don't know if you want to call it a scene, it's more like an introduction. But the first part of the show, before you first hear the opening song, the
Right.
two people speaking,
Right.
you don't know who they are, but it sets up the story.
Right. I remember that, yes. It does.
Yes, that part you have to watch that part.
It has meaning.
It's important. It's important. If you miss that part, you're gonna be messed up in the show.
You're going to wonder what's going on here. Yeah.
But to me, that was handled good. The way they were speaking, you see like the town.
Right.
You see the clips of the town. It's not a bad looking town, but it's not like this real happy looking town. It's a very gloomy looking.
That's for sure. And then that rain also added to that.
The way it's always raining in the beginning.
And the way, yeah. And I want to mention one other character. He wasn't in it that long. Perhaps you know his name. The man at the beach.
Katsumi.
Okay, well, he shows that you can be in a movie not long, but have an important part in it. Yeah, be very important.
To me, May's backstory was explained well.
It was.
It didn't just rush into it.
Yeah, because at first I was.
It was like spaced out well.
It was, and
you don't really want to say what happened. I'm not going to say what happens or like how she is, but it was done well.
Maybe we should do one of these for those that have watched it.
Well, I intend to later.
Okay.
Because meanwhile, this one's going to be the spoiler-free version.
Right.
Well, the other one's going to be more like analyzing it.
That'll be good.
Yeah. You don't really think of it, but you have to be careful how you handle the backstory of a character. Because if you don't do it right,
it's going to mess up everything.
It kills that whole character in a way.
It will, yeah.
And then depending how that character is, it could like mess up the whole show.
It could.
It could make it not as good as it was.
Yeah, that
or like as good as it would be.
They must have to do really researching or really thinking. Well, not really what are you going to research, but to really think about it.
But you got to research. There's like different ways you have to introduce characters, or
right.
And it depends if it's a book or a movie or a show. This was a book, then a comic, then the anime. But there is a formula how you have to introduce characters.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying they have to really work on to get each one right.
It won't have a strong enough impact. That's what I'm trying to say.
You're right.
If you don't do the backstory right, it won't have a good enough impact. And that doesn't even matter like how you write it, what happens. It has to explain well.
It gives things meaning.
Yeah. Yes, that was handled well. It didn't just rush into it.
Right.
That was done well. And you mentioned before Katsumi, how he had an important part, even though he wasn't in it that long.
Right.
What he was saying, though, was important, how it was done.
It was very important.
But like how the show showed
progressed
it to the audience, it was done well.
Right.
Another thing that the show did well, which I think a lot of people don't really think of it, because that's something that you would really think of, but how a character dies and the other character's reaction to it has to be done just right.
Right.
That also doesn't have the impact in it. In this show, like some characters had a bigger part than the other characters, and some of them more important, but some of them had a strong impact.
Yes. It sure did.
The first one did.
Very much
I think so much so the audience would know what happened. It was like
I was like, oh no.
And the last two, I think it was the last two. I know for sure the last one. I think it was also the one right before the last one too. It wasn't
impacting.
It wasn't just like rushed through. Yeah.
No. It wasn't rushed at all, and it had meaning.
It wasn't. It was long, but it wasn't really like what you would call dragged out.
No, it wasn't.
It was just they had to do it that way, or when it had the impact.
Right.
And a lot of the deaths are. I don't really want to say insane, but it's like
Well, some of them were.
some of that like so impossible you would say would never happen,
Right.
and that's the part of the way the show works.
Yeah, it does.
It's unpredictable, but
They wanted to have, I think, a very extreme,
yeah.
and that they did.
I know some of the people thought that they were like too extreme.
I don't think so, really.
No,
I mean, I think it went along well with it.
that was part of the idea is that so something that shouldn't happen,
Right.
that happens.
Because
But
that's really what the whole show was about,
Yeah.
really.
yeah, when you get right down
It
to
was,
it,
yeah.
But some of the critics said that like they almost found it like comical, like they couldn't really take it serious. To me, I don't see how you
I
could
did
take
not
it
see the
comic.
comic.
No,
Now, if somebody was to tell me what happened, I might think it was comedy.
because it's so
Bizarre.
yeah.
But when you watch it, it wasn't
it's
comedy. No.
No. Now to me
It had
that
a stronger impact than I expected.
yeah. Yeah, that was done well with this because
Yeah.
another thing that as strange as the deaths were, is if they weren't done just right, they would have just seemed weird.
Right.
Not really impactful or meaningful
Right. Exactly.
like this was. This is probably one of those shows that you shouldn't really get too attached to the characters.
For sure.
I think a lot of the horror anime are like that.
Well, I guess so.
Yeah.
Because-
Well, really, you have
Yeah.
to. They have to be like that. This is one of them. I know that some people also criticize the beach episode.
Well, there's certain things about it.
Well, they felt like the episode was just for fan service, like ecchi fan service.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Because,
I didn't really find that extreme though.
no, not at all.
There were shows that had worse in it.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like, they're more kiddified than a lot of shows, put it that
Yeah.
way.
That and that the episode was like filler.
But it did have some important points.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. I was saying before that the whole show can't be horrific
though. Right.
or
it can't
lose.
be.
I thought it was okay to have like a break in it.
Of course.
To me, it's one of the better horror or thriller anime.
Oh, it definitely is. I think so. Very good.
It might not be as disturbing as some like Shiki, but for only 12 episodes, it did tell a good story. It had a good
Definitely, it
mystery,
did.
and it did have good characters.
It was very good. I think it was excellent.
And it did have some intense scenes,
Oh, yeah. It
like
did.
especially the ending.
Yes. The ending was,
Horrific.
yeah, I can't elaborate
Yeah.
because, we just
Yeah.
can't, we don't want to ruin it for people.
Yeah, it was very impactful.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was also not just the end, but there were some pretty disturbing parts in it.
There was, yeah, it was very good though.
I would consider it a must-watch for people who like horror, thriller, or mystery anime.
Oh, definitely, I agree.
Well, I guess that's about it for this video.
Talk to you next time.